Hi, I'm Bill Feist. This is Bill Won't Shut Up. We're going to talk a little bit about Ho'oponopono, which we talk about every day. Today we're going to talk about paying attention because you can do all the Ho'oponopono rituals you want, the mantra and everything, but you have to pay attention afterwards. I'm going to give you a little story that I've heard years ago and I use all the time about paying attention. There was a pastor of a church and a flood was coming. So he was helping everybody getting on the boats and everything like that, but he stayed behind, and the water kept coming up higher. So he finally ended up on top of the roof, and a boat came by and said, "Pastor, come jump in the boat. Well, we can take off." He says, "No, no, God's going to save me. Don't worry about it." And so they left, and then another boat came by and said, "Pastor, the water's getting higher." He says, "Well, you don't know, God's going to save me." And now he's clear up on the steeple of the church, and a helicopter is up there. Okay, Pastor, we're going to send down a line so we can save you. And he said, "No, no, save somebody else. God's going to save me." Well, the water got higher, and the pastor drowned. So now he's in heaven. He's talking to God. He says, "God, I've been a pastor and a believer for all my life, and you didn't save me." And God looked at him and said, "I sent you two boats and a helicopter." The thing here is people want more of a direct thing, and I don't understand it. I have a lot of people that just don't understand that you have to pay attention because the help may come in ways you least expect it. Um, I had a cousin that was her family wanted her son wanted her to move out to Montana and live with them, and they were trying to decide, her and her husband, what to do and everything like that. Well, then her husband got sick, and then as he was getting better, they're still thinking maybe can they move to Montana, but around here in Cleveland, they're close to hospitalization pretty easy, and so. Then something else popped up, and then something popped out with another child, and ended up there were three or four things that any one of them kept them from moving to Montana. And we were having dinner with them one night, my wife and I, and my cousin says, "I just wish God would give me a sign." And my wife looked at her and said, "He sent you two boats and a helicopter." You know, which everybody knew the story, so it was great. And Deb explained the things that were sent. So it was like, I don't know what you expect as a sign, but it might not be as blatant or as visible as you think it should be. You might be sitting in a barber shop and overhear a conversation. You might be looking at a book or a magazine rack, or you don't know where inspiration is going to come from. God's pretty creative. Divinity. Divinity just has a way to sneak things into your life, and it's like just hang in there, pay attention, and kind of go with the flow. I mean, why did you hear about certain things? Why did you hear about that? Now, long before I practiced Ho'oponopono, I think I had some divine guidance in my life because of how I ended up where I am now. Um, uh, when I was 18, 19 years old, I was in the service, and it was during the Vietnam War, and I was going to be sent to Vietnam. Well, I was dating a girl at the time, and she wanted to get married, and I said, "Look, I love you. I want to get married to you, but I'm going to Vietnam, and from what I understand, there's a war going on over there. So it just wouldn't be right for you to be like a 19-year-old widow or something like that." So I said, "When we get back, we'll get married. When I get back from Vietnam, I have a year commitment. Let's just ride it out." So I go over there, and while I was in Vietnam, I turned 20 over there. Um, and about 7 or 8 months into the tour, I got a letter from my girlfriend with a new last name. she had gotten pregnant and got married. And it was like, well, I guess that, I mean, that's a pretty direct sign. I mean, because there was nothing I could do about that. But at the time, it was devastating. There were, it was a really tough time to just not think about that. But as I look back over my life, I was like, I really like where I'm at now. And I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have the son I had. I wouldn't have the fantastic granddaughter I have if I had married back before I went to Vietnam. So, and who's to say that wouldn't have happened anyway? Well, even if we got married, I don't know. I'd like to think because we were married that wouldn't happen, but I don't know. I just don't know. But divine guidance has been with me for a long time, and I think Ho'oponopono has really made me appreciate divine guidance and paying attention. There's been times in my life that I try to force things to happen the way I want them to happen, um, and it hasn't always worked out. It's like just relax, pay attention, and listen to good divine guidance. And once Deb and I found Dr. Hugh Lin, almost it was 19 years ago, uh, and learned about Ho'oponopono and started paying attention, it's like I tell you what, this is pretty good stuff. So what I would tell you is you don't know where that's going to come from. It might come from somebody you don't even like. You mentioned something, but there's divine guidance comes in all kinds of forms. Uh, and it won't always be as direct as two boats and a helicopter, but it'll be pretty direct. It's there, and if you miss it, it'll probably come back around and eventually slap you alongside the head and say, "Hey, you missed it the first time. See if you can get it this time." So, with that said, I think we're near the end of this. If you get a chance, go to my Instagram site and see Ho'oponopono Bill. I do nudges and reminders on there for people that have taken the Ho'oponopono class to help them keep them on track. But here we go. It's time.
Hello, this is Chuck to remind Bill to shut up.